social media, internet, whatever. And you know, conservatives attacked him for sitting next to her, and liberals can attack her for sitting next to him. And they both said, you know, they both talked about civility. That as a country of people, we're only going to get there if we are civil. And, you know, one of the things that came out is President George W. Bush has taken a lot of heat for the Iraq War and all the men that died. And believe it or not, someone who came to his defense was Elton John, who is a British homosexual. And Elton John said, people don't know, but for whatever lives were lost in the war, not that that was good, the lives that George W. Bush saved by his emphasis and his financial and political backing of AIDS treatment and prevention ends up being like in the millions of people. So, you know, the moral of the story of civility is, you know, if everybody in this room right here focused on what we don't like about each other or differ, we probably wouldn't make it out of the building. But we come here because we have something in common, and that's our Catholic faith. So, so the idea is to make the connection, like, perfect example, the connection that Ellen and President George W. have made. That connection is what moves us forward.
You got to be willing.
Right. And just to say this to tie us up, because I got like 2 minutes. I was supposed to talk about a couple different areas. One was immigration. One was the LGBTQ community. And so I'm going to say this. You know, Portland, Maine is, doesn't advertise this, but Portland, Maine is basically a sanctuary city. Now, sanctuary cities have taken heat because people say if you're a sanctuary city, you're bringing all of these people that are going to bring down the economy, the neighborhoods, the infrastructure. But what's actually going on in Portland, Maine is that Portland, Maine itself, in the area of addiction, the highest addiction per capita in the country. But because of that, and all of the working together of people in the state of Maine, specifically in Portland, Portland has become a sanctuary city for people who want to get off of drugs and alcohol, believe it or not. Because there's so much recovery that's developed in the community of Portland. So it's an example how, you know, embracing the marginalized that want to get better can actually turn bad into good. Another example of that is immigration. You know, anytime people are marginalized, we demonize them. You know, they're all criminals, they're all whatever. Yeah. Similar with immigration. The state of Maine, and there's an article in the handout that I gave you that talks about it. The state of Maine has an aging problem. Most of the people in Maine are living long and getting old, and we have a dirge of people in the age groups that go into the workforce. And one of the things that the city of Portland, but Maine in general, has done is to recruit immigrants to come to Maine, and they've provided, you know, opportunities for housing, opportunities for education, so that those folks can come to fill those spots. So we're giving them a sanctuary, but they're actually helping our economy. So it's what do they call it, symbiotic, where the host benefits from the person that attaches to them. And the other situation is right now another group that's very marginalized is the LGBTQ community. and that's anyone who's not heterosexual. And, for those of us that follow Catholic teaching, we have a very specific view of marriage when it comes to orientation. But that doesn't have to be the end of the story. By welcoming people that, we have to stand to the teachings of the church, but by welcoming people and making people feel comfortable about sharing who they are, there are gifts in that community that can come to serve us. And the last page of the handout that I gave you is a story of Father Michael Judge. Father Michael Judge is the New York Fire Department chaplain that lost his life helping people during 9/11. And Father Michael Judge was both an alcoholic and gay. And as Father Michael Judge dealt with his alcoholism and his orientation through his relationship with Jesus Christ, he decided to become a priest. And the stories of the people that he has helped along the road who wanted to just give up and die because they had an addiction, or people that had a same-sex orientation who wanted to kill themselves. The stories of the people that he ministered to that were able to come and be effective members of the church is just never-ending. What happens is that people that have same-sex orientation are 4 to 5 times more likely to become addicted to drugs or alcohol and or to take their own life. So, we obviously need to stand in solidarity with the teachings of the church, but that doesn't keep us from being welcoming to people that want to join our community. So, on that note, we're going to 5 minutes over, and I'll turn it over to...
She's on her way back.
She's on her way back?
Come to say the final prayer.
With the kids, I think, right?
If, while we're waiting for the final prayer, if you have an interest, obviously all of the teachings of the Catholic social teaching say that on some level all of us need to bring our gifts towards reaching out in these 7 different ways. We do a lot of that in our church. A lot of it goes unknown. But if you're interested in learning more about it or more involved, there's one group called the Parish Peace and Justice. Is that what the group is? There's the Parish Peace and Justice group that looks at a lot of things in reference to immigration and the poor. There's on the 1st and 3rd Monday evening at St. Mary's, we have the Hope and Recovery Prayer Group. And we're a group that prays and looks at ways to do outreach to people that are addicted. So if you had an interest at all in being more involved in any of those levels, you can contact either one of those groups and we can get busy. On that note, did you make it? I turn it over to Roseanne.
Those of you who have preschoolers, we have to pick them up. That's why they're not here. We have stolen your children. We thank Dan Mahoney very much. This session, very enlightening. Just for information, the artist that we saw on these little DVDs, that's Brother Mickey McGrath. He lives in Pennsylvania, and he does retreats, and he's an artist. And he always has, you can tell his paintings, and he always has a dove in all his pictures. So if you ever see one of his pictures, you look for the dove. There's somewhere in there, there's a little bit of a dove. So we have a short closing prayer. It fits the taking care of God's creation. So in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. God has given us a dream, a tree whose leaves are for healing of the nations. And into our hands, God places the seeds to give birth to such a tree. Go forth with that dream inside you. Go forth with hope burning bright. Go to the planters of seeds, nurturers of hopeful things. And may God bless you with the vision of that hope come to fruition before your eyes. In the name of the Father and the Son. Thank you for coming and enjoy the